Okay, so for today, you guys, I'm going to show you what your assignment is. So you know what I'm talking about. Okay, your assignment is this right here. You're going to take all the test-taking strategies and you're going to answer these two questions. Now you're going to cover them like I showed you to cover them. Just answer it. You can answer it over here in your own words or on a piece of paper if you don't have this printed out. And then look at the answer choices. So you're going to follow these steps. And we're going to review time distance graphs. So right now in your notebook, I want you to turn to your time distance graphs. So you have them. Oh, my glue didn't stick very good. Let's try this again. So your time distance graphs are underneath here. What is a time distance graph? So it is a type of graph that shows how the distance of an object changes over time. So on the y-axis that is vertical up and down, you have your distance. On the x-axis, you have time. Okay. How is constant speed represented? Constant speed is represented with a slope. How is acceleration represented? It's represented with like a curve right here. No motion, what does no motion look like? It's a straight line. Now, your graphs can be a mixture of these. They might not just be all the same thing. So you have to know how to read them. So I'm going to slide that to the side. And no, you guys do not have this paper. So I'm going to show you this paper. And we're going to use it for reviewing this. Okay. So here's like a time distance graph that I was showing you or talking about to where it has multiples of these in one. Because you see constant speed right here. It looks like this one. You see one that's just straight across. That's your no motion. You have another one that's pretty much the same. No, it's a little steeper because it's over one unit instead of two of them. So you have more constant speed, and then you have a different constant speed. Constant speed can be fast or slow. So this is like a medium speed. This is no movement, so the car stopped. Oh, this is of an animal. The animal stopped. Then look at the difference between, here, I'm going to get my highlighter. Look at the difference between this constant speed and this constant speed. So between, these are seconds, 0 and 2 seconds, they went a little bit after, a little above 10, so like 12 meters. In 3 to 4 seconds, so that's 1 second in between, they went from the 12 meters to 22 meters. So they went really fast in that 1 second. They doubled their speed. And then here, they slowed down again. Here, let me do it a different color. They slowed down again right here because they covered a shorter distance in the same amount of time as right here. Okay, so remember, this is where they stopped. This is no speed. Okay, so they're going to ask you questions about this graph. So it says this graph shows the motion of an animal. When does the animal remain still? Well, if you're remaining still, are you moving or do you have no motion? You have no motion, you're stopped. Well, in my graphs here, no motion is shown right here, where it's just a straight line. The distance doesn't change. The time keeps going on because you can't stop time, but the distance is not changing. Like me here right now at school. So I'm sitting in my classroom and I am the same distance from home here for like the past 2 hours because I haven't gotten up from my seat. So I have remained still. I've had no motion. I didn't go any further away from home. I didn't get any closer from home. So when does the animal remain still? Well, the animal remains still right here. And they want to know between what seconds, because it says between second 1 and second 2. Well, here's second 1 and second 2. What were they doing between that? The animal was moving. It was moving at a constant speed. So A is not correct because we already answered the question using our brain right here. So now we're looking at the answer choices. We're on test taking skill 3 right now. So between 2 and 3 seconds, well, here's 2 and here's 3. Were they stopped in between those? Yes. So I'm going to leave it alone. Double check all the other ones. Between 3 and 4, between 3 and 4, they were at a constant speed and they're even moving faster than the ones over here. So still at constant speed, so that's not right. Between 4 and 5 seconds, here's 4 and 5 seconds. Nope, because they were moving at a constant speed, even though they slowed down compared to this. Because remember, the steeper that this line is, the more vertical it is, the faster it's going. When it starts moving towards being horizontal, which this is horizontal, this is vertical, the closer it is to being horizontal and stopped means they go slower. So that's not right. So between 2 and 3, I'm going to double check it. Between 2 and 3, were they stopped? Yes. Okay, so let's look at the graphs real quick that you're going to be working on today. Remember, you did not have a copy of this graph. This is just for me to show you. So let's look at what you guys have. You guys have this paper right here. So I reviewed the strategies with you. First, you're going to read the questions carefully like a detective, underline any clues that will help you answer it, and that's what I did with the graph. I made marks on the graph and wrote things on it. Use your brain to answer the question on your own. So then when we talked about it and I circled the stop and everything, that was me using my brain, even though I didn't write it down. I still used my brain to talk and dissect that graph. Then read all the answer choices and X out the ones that don't fit your answer. This is where they might trick you because they're going to put in little words, or they'll put, like what we found out yesterday, that they put in where half the answer choice was right and the other half was not right. So watch out. They're going to try to trick you. And then check over your answer, reread the question, the answer choice that you think is correct, and ask yourself, does it make sense? That's super important. All right, so let's look at this graph. I'm not reading the question with you. We're just going to talk about the graph just to help you guys out. Remember, you can always flip back to that page that we were just looking at. So you have the distance on this side, and it's in inches, and you have seconds, the time on this side. So starting from 0 distance and 0 time, time is moving on, and they're moving at a constant speed. So from 0 to 6 seconds, they move 3 inches. Then at 6 seconds, they do what right here? They stop. They stop all the way until 9 seconds, and then we don't know what they do after that. So they go at a constant speed, and then they stop. Okay, let's look at these ones. Now they're showing you 2 different graphs, and they want you to compare it. It's 2 people running a race. Here's runner number 1, or A, and runner B, and they want you to compare it. Well, look, runner A, just from looking at it, they start at 0, and they run for 11, maybe 10 seconds. And in that 10 seconds, they go 20 yards, maybe? Yeah, I think it says yards. Let's say 20 yards. It really doesn't matter how far we think. I mean, what unit we use for this one. And then runner B, they start at 10 yards away, and they run 30 yards in the same amount of time. So they want you to compare, is runner A slower than runner B, or are they faster? Do they both run the same speed? So you're gonna have to figure out, okay, they went from what distance to what distance and how long did it take them? So even though these graphs look different, they might be very similar because the slope of this looks very similar. So make sure you read carefully. We'll go over this on Monday before you take your test. Do not forget to study this weekend. You will have a test on Monday for force and motion, and you can use your notes, but the test will make more sense if you study. You need to study your vocabulary. So you have 3 sets of vocabulary you need to study. You also need to study your study guide, because like I told you, I took a lot of the questions that you need to be able to know in order to do that test. And then just read through all of your graphs again, and that will help you. You might even want to go to the day that we did graphs, which was on September 1st, and go back and rewatch those videos, and that might help you too. Okay, so remember, there are no retakes on the test because you can use your notes, and you guys will get your score right away. So you cannot retake the test. So make sure you pay attention. I also, on Monday, I also put in the materials to print for next week. I put in a copy of your test. So if you want to print it out before you open up the Google form, go ahead and do so, and then you can take the test on paper and then transfer it over to Google Forms. It is up to you on how you want to do it, whatever helps you more. All right, go ahead and get started with those 2 problems.